center at the Supreme Court. We will tell you what the main concerns of the justices are.
Plus, the Miami Dolphins raised more than $10 million for cancer research. We will take you to the annual Dolphins Challenge Cancer event.
And later on, we will visit the largest Mardi Gras parade in South Florida.
These stories and more ahead on today's show.
And it starts right now.
Hello and welcome to this edition of UMTV News. I'm Justin Walkneen.
And I'm Ashley Valencia. Thank you for joining us. President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness plan is the spotlight today. That's because the U.S. Supreme Court is hearing arguments on two cases linked to the program. Braving the rainy conditions in anticipation of the High Court's decision on the country's student loan forgiveness program.
We all have tremendous amounts of student debt because of the predatory practices of our capitalist economy.
Millions of student loan borrowers could see up to $20,000 of their debt canceled depending on the outcome of Tuesday's hearing.
What we want to remind American people more broadly is how this program is going to give tens of millions of Americans across the country a little bit of a breathing room that you hear from the president, who says this a lot. That's part of his economic plan.
Critics of the program say the country can't afford to pick up the tab.
We believe that a lot of the inflation is a direct result of bad policies that this president's done through executive order, like canceling the Keystone Pipeline and the student loan debt and things like that.
Two cases are in front of the justices Tuesday. In one, 6 Republican-led states said they would be harmed financially if the program goes into effect. The other involves 2 borrowers in Texas who don't fully qualify for debt forgiveness under the program. A decision from the Supreme Court is not expected until the term in late June or early July.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has just checked off a major political win. The Republican governor signed a bill into law Monday giving him new power over Walt Disney World. The law is essentially a state takeover of the Reedy Creek Improvement District. That's a special governing body and taxing body that was in place for more than 50 years for the Disney World Resort in Central Florida. The legislation allows DeSantis to handpick the 5 new members on the board. It also restricts the resort's use of eminent domain and removes powers that could have allowed Disney to build its own airport or nuclear plant.
Today, the corporate kingdom finally comes to an end. There's a new sheriff in town, and accountability will be the order of the day.
The move has largely been seen as a way to punish Disney for speaking out against DeSantis' political agenda. Walt Disney World Resort's president says the company is ready to work within this new framework. The new board is scheduled to meet next week.
Friday marked the 1-year anniversary of Russian President Putin sending troops to invade Ukraine. And since the start of the war, more than 100,000 Ukrainians have found refuge in the United States, many of them here in South Florida. Our reporter Anna Kuhn spoke to some Ukrainians in the area. Anna, what did they say?
Ashley, residents of South Florida have lent a helping hand to those refugees, and this week they showed their thanks to those who have helped them here in the U.S. while paying tribute to the Ukrainian soldiers on the front lines. Sergei Chumenchenko had to flee his home in Luhansk, Ukraine, when Russian troops invaded in 2014. He picked up his life and moved to a town outside of Kyiv.
I loved my country and my community. I was building a future for myself, but in 2 separate cities, I had to restart my life.
9 years later, he found himself surrounded by Russian troops yet again. This time, he had to leave the country.
The bombing continued, and the power went off, leaving us with no heat, no water, and no light. I felt like I was almost homeless.
2 months ago, Sergei found his way to an old friend living in the United States, and Jewish Community Services of South Florida is helping him adjust to life in America.
They came here maybe thinking it's going to be a few months, maybe I'm going to be able to survive with my savings. And unfortunately, that's not what we are having these days.
The community center has helped over 200 Ukrainians, providing help in rent assistance, job searches, legal and medical help, and finding a community in a new country. But the most difficult part of life for Sergei is thinking about his people back home. It's been 365 days of war in Ukraine, but the spirit of these Ukrainian people have not wavered. You can see here behind me, they are lining the streets as cars drive by and honk in their support of the Ukrainian people on this anniversary here in Hallandale Beach.
When war just started, they were like hiding in basements and they were like running away from bombs. And it was very hard to get out from Ukraine, but thanks God, most of my family, they were able to leave.
Over 8,300 Ukrainians have come to the state of Florida, and hundreds gathered on Friday to mourn those that Ukraine has lost and recognize the strength of their country.
I haven't had like any day that I wouldn't think about Ukraine, but I can say that I'm so proud of Ukraine and I'm so proud of my people, how strong they are and how they protect our country. I believe that Ukraine will win.
There are so many other organizations and individuals who are helping out these refugees. And Ashley, every person I spoke to gave their thanks for the support that they've received. If you want to see how you can help, head to fl4ua.com. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Anna Kuhn.
The process of removing the toxic waste from the train derailment site in East Palestine, Ohio has resumed. 4 sites have been selected as places to dispose the chemicals. The February 3rd crash has left residents with many health concerns. According to scientists, 9 of the dozens of chemicals they tested are higher than normally would be in the area. The scientists say if some levels remain high, it could be a problem for East Palestine residents' health in the long term.
Everyone wants this contamination gone from the community. They don't want the worry and they don't want the smell. And we owe it to the people of East Palestine to move it out of the community as quickly as possible.
The EPA and local government officials have repeatedly said their tests show the air quality in the area is safe and that chemicals should dissipate. As of Sunday, officials have tested air in nearly 600 homes.
Severe snowstorms continue throughout California, and on Monday, San Bernardino County officials have declared a local emergency. This is the first blizzard warning on record for the San Bernardino Mountains. People have been stuck in their cars for days in the dark, and many families are trapped in their homes in the wake of the historic snowstorm. Over 600 students made their way back home on Monday after being trapped in the mountains over the weekend.
You know, like any child would miss their parents. She was thrilled. She gets to spend more time with her friends, her classmates, up in the snow while it's snowing.
Others are being escorted back to their homes, but there are multiple roads still under hard closure, and there's no estimate on when the roads will open back up.
And speaking of weather, the damage caused by Hurricane Ian devastated one famous Florida lighthouse, forcing it to close for several months. However, despite the damage, the Sanibel Lighthouse has since been reported and was relit last week. The relighting was celebrated with a ceremony by city officials. We're going to take a short break, but when we return,
we'll tell you about the largest fundraiser in the NFL that happens right here in Miami. Stay with us.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
The Black Awareness Month Committee has hosted several events here on campus, ranging from mixers to service projects. They've now added art shows to the mix. With today concluding Black History Month, reporter Justice Johnson has a colorful story to send it home. Justice, what can you tell?
That's right, Ashley. Black students here at the University of Miami campus have created art with a unique twist. That's right, Ashley. Black students here at the University of Miami campus have created art with a unique twist. They're bridging together art with technology, history, and most importantly, culture. Let's take a look. Black History Month has created spaces for several events on campus. One event in particular has paired together futuristic themes and art. It's called Visions, Interpretations of Afrofuturism. A new student organization at the University of Miami called Black Creatives Collective has partnered with the Black Awareness Month Committee to host this first-of-its-kind art exhibition. BCC is an organization dedicated to bringing like-minded individuals together through creation and collaboration. Many who came say they feel seen in spaces like these.
I am blown away, honestly. It's just so beautiful, just hearing their backstories, hearing, the place they created from, and just resonating with it so much, seeing some aspects of myself in it.
8 student artists had their work on display. One student, Claire Michelle Sweet, a second year from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, created a projected photo series titled Space Girl. Space Girl describes the evolution of Black culture and exploration, moving from discovery to creation and then finally protection.
This is actually my first photography piece, and so honestly, art is just a growing concept for me.
She has ambitions to work in every aspect of art, including photography, music, and film. She defines art as expression. It's a method of storytelling that describes experiences and a person's identity during a specific period of time. She chose a Black muse because her art is a reflection of her own experience.
Being a Black woman has inspired me to create art because through my experiences, through the things that have hurt me in the past, it's helped me stronger and create the person I am.
Looking forward, Claire's mission is to flip the narrative for Black women in media. She hopes they see themselves in her art, and it encourages them to live their lives as their most authentic self. The organization hopes to host creative spaces for students to give the platform for their creative art. They want to publish the work in permanent spaces around campus as well as share it digitally. They hope to host this event yearly, as well as if you want more information from the Black Creatives Collective, reach out to their Instagram. For more information, and I'm reporting live for UMTV, I'm Justice Johnson.
Thank you, Justice. Miami Hurricanes men's basketball snapped its at-home undefeated streak on Saturday as the Canes suffer a 1-point loss to the rival Florida State Seminoles after some back-and-forth late-game drama. Miami was on the verge of extending their at-home undefeated streak to 16 games before the Seminoles erased a 25-point deficit. The game went down to the wire before the Seminoles guard Matthew Cleveland sinks a three-pointer at the buzzer, giving the Noles the 1-point win. The Canes will be taking on the Pittsburgh Panthers on Saturday for the last game of the regular season for a shot at the regular season ACC crown.
The Miami Dolphins football program has hosted its annual Dolphins Challenge Cancer event over the weekend. On Sunday, hundreds of participants went off to the races, both on bikes and on foot. But for most racers, their goal was not to set their personal best time, but to raise the most money for cancer research. The Dolphins Challenge Cancer event partners with the University of Miami Sylvester Cancer Center, this year raising a record-breaking $10 million for the cure. And while raising money, the event highlights living proof celebrating all cancer survivors in attendance.
Just being able to help back the people that helped me to be able to get over this cancer thing, and I'm just looking forward for them to find a cure to help others, because it's just paying it forward.
Lena and many others were able to ring the living proof bell on Sunday, celebrating their remission. Sunday's event featured bike races from 15 to 100 miles, and the most popular event, the 5K Fun Run, which goes through the Hard Rock Stadium's brand new F1 track. The NFL's largest fundraiser will be back in Miami next year.
student government elections have made their way onto campus as the university prepares for the 2023-24 academic year. Students voted on two election tickets. The ticket All About You wants to expand shuttle routes to Key Biscayne on weekends and heighten safety protocols in parking garages. The ticket in Undeniable You wants to provide students with parking pass scholarships and ensure completion of the Multicultural Center.
And coming up after the break, reporter Manny shows us one popular Louisiana celebration that made its way to Florida.
Plus, Hollywood D-star welcomes her first child and keeps us updated on her parenting journey so far. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
I didn't talk about it. I was told not to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I'm here to talk about it.
Sorry, I keep moving.
Because I can't stay quiet.
I was able to break my silence.
Because of those who refuse to stay quiet.
I am a businesswoman.
Activist.
Survivor.
Survivor. Survivor.
Advancements in technology in the creative world have led to the evolution of art with the arrival of NFTs and AI-generated artworks. Yet, Archive 79 Art Studio held its annual art show in Wynwood Thursday evening, highlighting art in its simplest of forms. The name of the event, Art for Art's Sake, comes from a simple idea that the sole purpose of a work of art is to be a self-expression of the artist behind the piece. The event organizer and gallery owners, Federico Bertele, says technology can negatively impact the creative world.
Where we're at right now, AI is making art and graphic design and everything soulless. So this was just to highlight the artists that are still putting in the work, still putting their time, and creating beautiful things without the help of these soulless algorithms and codes.
The art show featured all sorts of paintings, sculptures, and other simple yet intricate works of art done by local and international artists.
Keke Palmer and her boyfriend have welcomed their first child right before the end of the month. The Hollywood star took Instagram to announce her first 48 hours of motherhood yesterday. In her post, she reveals the baby's name, Leotis Androtone Jackson. Congrats, Keke, on motherhood and welcome, baby Leo.
Mardi Gras celebrations have taken place worldwide over the last week. People have been partying from Louisiana to Italy and even some spots closer to home. And our reporter Madison Shore went to check it out and joins us now live with more. Maddie, how was the party?
Thanks, Justin. Turns out New Orleans isn't the only city that knows how to let the good times roll. I checked out one Mardi Gras celebration right here in Florida.
Jumping rocket rhythm, swinging and jumping the blue.
This might have all the makings of a New Orleans Mardi Gras, but this is happening almost 1,000 miles away and not far from Miami. The city of Hollywood has been hosting South Florida's largest Mardi Gras celebration since 1935. This year, the celebration took place on February 26th. Hundreds of attendees were encouraged to dress up in crazy costumes or wear traditional Mardi Gras colors, gold, green, and purple. Partygoers enjoyed live music from a brass band, shopped from local vendors, and got to try out some authentic New Orleans flavor.
Shipped in from New Orleans every weekend.
Bayou Brad started his Cajun food business inspired by growing up in the Mardi Gras capital of the world, Louisiana.
For me, it's about family, fun, the festival, the music, the eating, the drinking, just meeting and dancing with a bunch of people. It's New Orleans. What we try to do in South Florida is bring a little bit of that Mardi Gras spirit here every weekend.
The holiday was originally intended for Christians to celebrate the day before Lent begins, but it's since evolved into a week-long party for everyone to enjoy. And although Mardi Gras celebrations are not as religious, the meaning of the holiday has stayed the same for centuries.
You can get as crazy as you want, nobody cares. You gotta be yourself.
If you missed out on this year's festivities, Hollywood's Mardi Gras will be back next February. For UMTV, I'm Madison Shore.
Thanks, Maddie. And if you're in the mood to continue the Fat Tuesday celebration, you're in luck. Today is National Pancake Day. Whether you like chocolate chip, blueberry, banana, or whole wheat, today's the perfect day to dig into a fluffy pancake and to satisfy your cravings. You can stop by your local IHOP for a free short stack all day today. I'll definitely make sure to stop by today and get mine.
Absolutely, Ashley. IHOP will definitely be the place to go for International Pancake Day. But that's all we have for today's show. Thank you for joining us.
Come back right here at the same time next week. Until then, have a great night.